Welcome to this connubule with just a touch of outlawry lesson. I'm sorry, let me do it again. Welcome to this connubule. All right, stop.
Connubule. Are we talking about like marital stuff?
Yeah, connubule. Yeah, okay, all right.
It's the more you say it, the wronger it sounds.
I know.
Like the name of a pet of somebody. Oh, come here, connubule. Yeah, that's all right.
Welcome to this connubule. God, why do I pick these freaking words?
You're the one doing it to yourself.
I know.
That's the thing.
I know. Welcome to this connubule with just a touch of outlawry episode of Talking Lamar. Today, I'm talking about my wedding to my smoking hot wife and the plundering of our wedding gifts. Let's get to it.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Sorry, I forgot what I was talking about. What are you talking about?
I am talking to you.
That's just what I was talking about.
It's Talking Lamar.
Max, Sherry, both of you were at our wedding, so I think you can verify a good time was had by all.
Oh, absolutely.
Would I be wrong?
Oh, it was so fun. It was such a great wedding.
And it was cool. It was cool planning it. It was at a beautiful venue. I'm not going to say the name of the venue because of what happened, and I don't want to give them any kind of adverse publicity. It wasn't their fault. But when we sat down, we went with them to plan it out, and we had an invitation count of 125 RSVPs, and the venue said, well, if you've got 125, we should probably set up about 75 or 80, set up for about 75 or 80. And I said, why? They said, we do this all the time because not everybody's going to come. I said, I've got 125 RSVPs. She goes, I know, but they all won't come. I said, you don't know me. You don't know my people. I said, let me say something. When I say I'm having a party and I'm furnishing a live band, liquor, and food, my people show. I said, so I need 125 places to sit. She goes, I'm trying to help you here. I said, you know what? I said, do you know how many people we got food for? I said, 125. I said, if I made food for 75 or 80 and 125 show up, I'm going to look like a fool. If I sit down chairs and plates for 75 or 80 and 125 show up, which they're going to, I'm going to look like a fool. We thought about this for quite a while. And I said, look, I'll tell you how serious I am about this. I'll call this whole thing off right now. I said, do you not have enough tables? Well, yeah, we did. Then we're through talking about it. I said, we're through talking about it. Set it up. And I did not have an empty place sitting in the place. I mean, I knew what was coming. I knew because we had really, we whittled it down because we would have liked to have invited a few more people than that. But I knew it was a limited amount of space. And we had really, nobody's name went out that I didn't know was coming for sure. So that worked out great. So we had a great time. The ceremony went great. Everything was awesome. And so one of the things I asked about, I said, where do we need to set up the gift table? And she goes, well, we don't do a gift table. I said, really? I said, well, why not? She goes, we've got a room down here where they come in. There's a room there, and we will take their gifts and we'll put them in this room, and then we lock it. She said, because if you just have a gift table, people could just take your gift and walk, just pick up a couple of gifts and walk out. I said, well, let's see. Let me get this straight. You didn't think half of my people was going to show up, and now you're telling me the ones that do show up is going to steal my stuff. And she goes, well, no, but it's possible. She said, our policy is we know that it's behind that locked door, and nothing is going to happen because only one person has the key, our security guard. That's the only one, so you don't have to worry. So I said, okay, I'm not crazy about it, but that's fine. So we get there and we get set up. And one interesting fact about my wedding, the person that handled all of the reception, getting everything set up, taking care of everything that had to be done at the reception was my ex-wife and her husband. they took care of all of that at my wedding. So, which is weird in itself. That's probably a whole nother talking, Lamar. But so they had all that squared away. And so, we did the thing. And so we cut the cake. Everything is great. The band was great. DJs, awesome. DJs are fantastic because they play whatever kind of music you want. It's going to sound good. But that live band, it's hard to beat a live band. Would y'all agree?
I agree. Well, it depends on the band.
Well, no, I know. Listen, I'll tell you this. I'll take a decent band live in the place over an excellent DJ. And I'm not dissing DJs because I know a lot of DJs that do great work. There's just something about that being there. And especially if our front guy, he come out that stage, man, he's working the floor. I mean, he did a great job. Everything is fantastic. So we've done all this and we've had a great wedding. And so we take off, we catch a flight, we go to Hawaii for the week, and it was awesome. Everything is great. Well, we fly from Greenville, Spartanburg into Atlanta, and we've got enough time to go eat breakfast. So we go in and sit down. And so Carla she said, I'll just pay cash for breakfast. And so she goes into her pocketbook and she's missing about $150 worth of cash. And I said, what happened? She goes, no. The money was in here. I had the money. It was in here. She said, it was in here at the wedding. I know I had the money. She said, because we left there and we didn't go home. I knew what the deal was. And I said, well, where was your pocketbook during the wedding? She said, well, it was locked up in the office. I said, okay, all right, well, we'll find out about that later. No problem. So we go on to the honeymoon. And so we get back and people are calling, how was the honeymoon? Oh, it's great. And one of the people called and she said, I just want to make sure that you got my card, that I left you. And so we're going through the stuff and we see some cards and whatever. And we find their card, but it was a nice card, but there was nothing in it. And so we called her back and said, well, yeah, we did get your card, but there was nothing in it. She goes, what do you mean it wasn't anything in it? She said, it was $100 in it. I said, well, we're looking at the card. And I said, we packed everything up and, I said, there's no way. I said, I'm just telling you, it's not here. And she goes, read the card. So I pull the card out and I read the card. But as I'm looking at the color of the card, you know how they make the envelope match sort of the color of the card in the envelope?
Yeah.
Well, the envelope is a weird color compared to the card. And it was actually a little bit bigger than the card. It wasn't, it didn't fit or whatever. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. So we start looking and we don't have that many envelopes and stuff, but we find another envelope and it's got a card in it, nothing in the card, but the card, and it matched the envelope of the other card. And that envelope matched, it was like I'd pull both of them out and I'd switch the cards into the wrong envelopes. So now I'm thinking, wait a minute. The only way this can happen is the security guard that had the key to where all the presents was the same person that had the key to the office that the pocketbook was in. Well, I'm not no Columbo, but I'm here to tell you, it makes sense to me that if only one person's got the key and everything was locked up in that place and you're missing stuff, we need to talk to the person with the key. So we called to talk to them at the place, and they said, oh, no, that's impossible. That could never happen. I mean, this is our security guard. She's been with us for almost 2 years now. I said, almost 2 years. I said, it would be a little bit more impressive if you said she's been with us for 25 years. I said, but, she said, we've never had any kind of incidents, blah, 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 blah. So I said, well, we need to have a meeting. Well, Sheri, if you remember, who was the intern that you brought this time? I had an intern at the time. Who?
Frank? Are you thinking Frank?
It was Frank. It was Frank.
Oh, Frank Wilson. Love him.
Yeah, Frank. Frank videotaped our wedding. And so they put it online and a ton of people watched it. So we go in, Carla and I, we sat down. And so the president of it's a little university deal. I'll go that far. So the president of the university sits down and we're talking about this. And she says, I'm sorry, but you must be mistaken. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, you tell me what conclusion you come to. You refuse to let me have a table for the gifts because you said they would be guaranteed security because they would be locked in this door in this room and only one person would have the key. Is that correct? She goes, well, yeah, of course. And I said, and that one person had the key to the office where my wife's pocketbook was, right? She goes, absolutely. And I said, okay, well, when we left that night, we went straight to the hotel to spend the night to get on the plane the next morning. And we got to Atlanta. We're missing $150 out of that pocketbook. Coincidence. And I said, I've got people, and I've called a few people, I've got missing gift cards. I've got some envelopes that's got cards that say blah, 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 but there's nothing in them. Come to find out, there was. Some of them had cash. Some of them had gift cards. And I said, they're not there. She goes, that's a pretty serious charge. I said, it's not a serious charge. I'm telling you, your person had the key. That's the only person that could get in the room or in the office, and that stuff is gone. She goes, well, I'll admit that does sound strange, but I just don't think there's nothing we can do about it. Now, Carla's fixing to have a come apart. I mean, she is fixing to have, and I said, hey. I patted her on the knee. I said, hold on. I said, okay. I said, well, let's talk about something here. I said, I don't know that, I work for Budweiser. I said, but there's another job that I have. I work with a syndicated radio show. I said, stations all over the country. And I said, they attended the wedding and they videotaped the wedding. And I said, they've posted the wedding on Facebook. And I said, the last count I had was about 64,000 people had watched that. I said, so your name and your place of employment here, 65,000 people already know what the deal is. And I said, we're just getting back from vacation. I said, I'm going to be talking on the radio about my wedding. And I'm going to be talking about exactly where I got married. And I'm going to tell them exactly how it went. I said, now, you help me decide. I'm putting it in your court. How do you want me to tell this? Do you want me to tell exactly what happened with your security guard and all the money that got stolen and all that kind of stuff? Is that what you want me to tell? Or you just want me to say, it was a wonderful venue and we had a fantastic time? She sat there for about 10 seconds and she said, what do you need us to do? I said, now we're talking. I said, I'm going to give you my guest list, and I need you to call every person on that guest list. And I need you to ask them exactly what they put in. If they left us a card or a gift, whatever it was, I need you to write it down. If it was a toaster, write it down. If it was a gift card, write it down and write down how much it was. And she said, well, that's going to take us a long time. And I said, well, here's the problem. I would be glad to do it. But if I start calling people and say, hey, what did you give us for the wedding? I sound like an asshole. I said, I'm not going to be the asshole. It's bad form. It's bad etiquette. It's bad everything for me to call somebody and say, hey, I'm not seeing a gift from you. What's the scoop? You come to my wedding? I said, no, I'm not doing that. I said, but you can say there's been some mix. I don't care what you say. But I need you to touch base with every phone call, and I'll double check to make sure that you call these people. You need to call, find out exactly what the gifts were. I've got a list of all the gifts and everything that was there. We'll go through that. Whatever is not there, I'm going to expect you to write me a check. And she studied it for a few minutes.
How'd that go?
She said, well, I don't feel good about it. I said, no. I don't. You think you don't feel good? Trust me, I don't feel good. I said, but if you write me that check, then I'll call it even. Once again, I'm going to talk about my wedding and I'm going to tell all kinds of things about the wedding. You just have to decide what I'm going to say. I said, because unless you pay me for all this missing things that your person stole, then you're going to be famous. And she said, we'll make the phone calls. And she did. She did everything. And it wound up being, it was close to $300. And most of it was gift cards and cash. Yeah. And she just went, everybody that gave her an envelope, she'd pull the card out, take the stuff out, put the card back in, and set it down.
Did your wedding was so wonderful. Your obvious joy, both of you, the food, the music.
Yeah.
I just had forgotten that you got married at Mary Quake Contreras, because everything you wanted, they pushed back on you.
I know. It was crazy. It was crazy. And I told that lady, I said, listen, I know the wedding business. I said, I videotaped wedding for years and years. And I understand that you invite 300 people and 200 and something's going to show up. That's not how this is. Each one of these people are important to our life. I go to church with some of these people. I work with some of these people. I hang out with some of these people. There's going to be people that would have come that I'm not inviting. That's what I'm telling you. I said, I know people that invite 300 people hoping that 250 show up. I'm not doing that. I knew I had a limited amount. And she wanted to argue about it. But I went back and I made sure I checked. I checked them off. Everybody that we invited showed up. And I know that's probably unusual, but, I knew what was going to happen. I really did.
Well, as I recollect your wedding, some people, when they throw a wedding, especially if it's like your first wedding and you're inviting your parents' friends or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That's a different thing. But as I recollect your wedding, every single person in that room was part of yours and Carla's everyday current life in this moment
circle.
right now.
Yes. Yeah. They were in my circle. They were absolutely, these were people that I saw minimum a couple of times a month. Most of them I saw or talked to every week. And then some of them was every day. So no, that wasn't going to happen. And let me go ahead and tell you, you set a trap with free food, free beer, and free liquor, and music and dancing, you're going to catch something every time. I mean, that's, no. I knew that was going to be big. But if it hadn't have been, probably, if she hadn't have took that money out of Carla's pocketbook, we might not have noticed it. I wouldn't have noticed it. And then I would have not sent thank you. That's the other thing I said. I said, if somebody brought me something, they have to get a thank you card. And I said, if it got stolen and I don't send in the thank you card, once again, I'm the asshole. I said, I'm not saying there's not some assholes here, but it ain't going to be me. I said, I'm, no, I'm not doing it. But if I hadn't had the leverage, I don't know what because she was going to stick behind that security person. And I'm not saying, and then I come to find out, once I talked, like I had hired bartenders to work the bar, and they had told me that, that the security guard had them making her drinks and cups that didn't look like drinks or whatever. And the people that did my food said that this woman came up to them with styrofoam stuff to get stuff to take home with her. On top of stealing my money and my gift cards.
Wow.
And here's the question.
Balls on this.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I asked the lady, I said, now look, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. And I know you don't want to think about this, but all the weddings that you've had here, this could have been happening. And I said, maybe it happened a little bit at a time. Maybe this time she just went crazy. But this time she sort of made a mistake because it was noticeable. I said, there's no telling how many times this has happened. I said, you've got a problem. I said, now, whether you handle that problem or not, I don't know, but you're going to pay me. And sure enough, they did. They were kind. But she was pretty arrogant to start with. I mean,
what do you think? They say rain on your wedding day is good luck. What is having all of your gifts stolen? That must be a good omen. Look how happy you are.
Yeah. Well, like I say, we were fortunate. We found out about it, but I'll bet you if she was doing that, if she was hiring the security for all the weddings that they did, she could have easily, knocked out $100 or $200 a wedding with no problem. Because there's people. Because a lot of times, if we do a card, we don't always do a gift card. We'll do a card with cash.
Mhm.
And she could have went through there and just pulled,
And
I think what happened is nobody would have never known. And there's probably people that are ticked off because they didn't get a thank you note for the gift they gave. The poor people never got the gift, and they don't know any better.
And because everybody's so busy with everything that's going on there, you don't notice that, and you're not thinking that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
A wedding is beautiful chaos. Yeah, you could easily stuff could go missing. And then there's somebody out there, and this is true because I see this all the time on like Reddit and the internet. Somebody's so pissed they never got a thank you note. They're holding on to it 10 years, 15, 20 years later.
That's the kind. Listen, we're in the South. That's the kind of thing that people won't speak to you for the rest of their life about. No, thank you.
Whole family feuds, multi-generational family feuds will erupt.
Yeah.
One of my kids' grandparents is such a stickler for thank you notes that I told my girls, this gift has arrived for you from so and so. Go get your thank you notes ready, or you can't open it. Because that is like just the way it is. Like people expect it. It's a very big thing.
No, it is huge. And as well it should be. As well it should be.
I have to say though, I couldn't. Have you ever bumped into this person around town?
No.
And did they fire the security guard?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I just said,
hope.
I said, you got a problem here. I said, and I'm showing you've got a problem here. I said, and we were sort of going back and forth about it. I said, well, how do you explain everything's locked up, one person's got the key, stuff is missing, now tell me what's what? She goes, well, I know, but no, there's no but here. This is 101. And I said, let me go ahead and say, I hadn't even thought about calling the police yet. I hadn't even thought about that. I just need my money. I said, because it's not right that, I said, it's just no. Somebody's got to pay me. And this is your employee. I begged you to let me have a gift table. You said no. So I did everything you said, and you see where we're at. So.
I've never heard of this no gift table. I mean, I've been to weddings. I've been to weddings where the bride and groom, like Eric, my bonus son, he and his wife, their gift registry was 0. They had a honeymoon fund that you could choose to donate to if you wanted to, but they did not register and did not ask or want a single gift. They're already adults with established lives. So it's not like I've not seen a wedding where the bride and groom are like, no gifts. But in a typical wedding scenario, there's a gift table. Like, are you and I from the sticks? Like, Max, have you ever been to a wedding that didn't have a gift table?
No. And you know what the guess on this is? That the security guard said, it is, I'm the security guard. This is what I would suggest you do. So she was in control of the situation.
This could have been her idea.
And that was,
honestly.
I honestly believe that was the case.
Yes.
That would make sense.
Yes, because what a great scam.
And then she's back in the room all by herself.
Yeah. This, I think now what your bonus son did, that has become more and more popular, and it makes such good sense. We just got through, Alex has had a baby shower, a sprinkle now. If it's your second baby, it's a sprinkle. So she had a sprinkle. Well, she's got a son and she's having a boy. So she's got all kinds of stuff for boys. That's not a problem. There's not much she needs there. Now, what she is going to have to do is buy an expensive car seat because she's only got one. She's got to have 2. And so there's some other things that she's got to do. And so basically what we said with the invitations was if you want to do anything, just do a Visa gift card. Just a gift card, because then they can, because they had to buy another baby bed. They had to buy some different stuff that, and it worked out like a charm. And as far as I go, when I get an invitation, if I didn't have to go try to decide something and all that kind of stuff, and I can do cash or a gift card, isn't that convenient for the gift giver? It's so convenient. It makes perfect sense.
Yes.
It
So-
does. I mean, I know people, maybe it's older people that feel like it's not personal enough, but I feel plenty of personal gratitude upon receiving one. I can tell you that.
Yeah, you know, what is it they say about cash? It's always it fits and it's always the right color. I mean, come
Always
on.
the right size. Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Yeah, it does
this
everything.
this thing about, when it's your second or your third baby, you don't get a shower, you get a sprinkle. I mean, I get that, but at the same time, unless we're talking about extremely affluent people, you still need diapers and
Oh
like
yeah.
it's so expensive.
Yeah.
I have never understood. But is she having a shower for her second baby? Are you making sounds with your face, Judith? Please. Babies
is
are expensive.
Is this second baby going to eat and crap? Of course it is. Yes, she's going to eat. Yes, I mean,
Here's how I feel about that. You get an invitation to a baby shower. It's a second or third baby, and you feel a kind of way about that. Send your regrets and get on with your life. Don't be a dick about it.
yeah.
People, just because they may not need a ton of onesies doesn't mean they don't need a ton
No.
of diapers and
No.
like 3
You know what?
years
Listen.
worth of diapers, right?
When's the last time? It's been a while for you too, Pro. When's the last time you bought a car seat? Those things are ridiculous. Money,
Dude,
they're expensive.
I bought a stroller. We have a baby in our family. We have a baby. I'm so excited. Rachel's pregnant with her first child.
Yeah.
And we just had a shower for her last week. And I was like, let's get that baby registry. Let's get it. Because I wanted to make sure that Kevin and I bought something that was expensive so that Rachel
Substantial
and her husband
and
wouldn't
good,
have to. Right.
Yeah.
So let me see this registry. And we jumped on the baby stroller. That's no joke. Like a baby
No,
stroller.
no.
And we're not talking
Yeah.
like a collapsible umbrella stroller. We're talking like a proper baby
No.
stroller.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
money. So take a moment instead of being like, hey, they're greedy and they want gifts and blah, blah. You're a human
No.
being in this shit show
yes.
of a world. Go
Yeah.
have some bonbons and cupcake and punch and bring a box of diapers or whatever, or send your regrets. But why you got to be unpleasant about it?
Yeah. Listen,
It wasn't it enough that you stole Lamar and Carla's wedding gifts? Now you won't buy a baby present? You're a bitch. Come on.
We did a diaper raffle. So if you brought diapers, you got entered into the raffle, and you won $50 gift card. Well, they got a bunch of diapers. Because what's the odds on that? I mean,
That's right. I went to a wedding.
I love it.
And I brought a gift card. And so the guy had been married before. And so I wrote his name and his wife's name on the card. Only it was as I was walking into the venue that I realized I had his first wife's name on the card.
Ruh-roh.
So this is an instance, Lamar, where the card and the envelope might not have matched. And I finally got the proper name on it. The only thing I can say is I felt so grateful that I noticed it while I was walking in. But you can see how, because you're used to saying those names together. If it's a couple, it's so and so and so and so. It's Lamar and Carla. You know.
Yeah. No, I get it. That would yeah. Not only would that be bad for you, it'd be bad for him too.
It'd be bad for her. It'd be bad for everybody.
Because she's gonna be mad at him when she sees what is there, you know.
Why did we invite him?
And this is why it's like if you can avoid leaving the house, it's just so much less stressful.
Sheri, I am with you.
Just stay home. There's so many good things to watch on TV. Get a book.
There's DoorDash. There's Netflix. There's Amazon Prime. There's Hulu.
Yeah.
There's your own
Paramount
thoughts.
Plus,
Those are colorful.
There's Apple TV.
Well, the good news here, Lamar, they may have been able to steal your wedding gifts, but they could not steal your joy.
No, that was out. They could not. They could not.
And they might have tried to run a racket about your wedding, but your marriage was the real deal. And there was nothing they could do to mess with that. Yeah.
We had a good time.
Yeah.
That was a great wedding.
No.
That really was a great wedding.
Max and Doc and I we're we're feeling a little stung by the fact that we weren't allowed in on the diaper raffle.
Boy, I should have reached out to y'all. Hey, it's
We
not
like
too
to
late.
win things. We like to win
It's
things.
too late to win, but it's not
Sherry.
too late to enter.
Sherry, I've never been involved with a diaper raffle. I just am concerned about what you do win.
It does sound like something where Max, just put your car keys in that bowl. That's it, sweetie. It's time for the
We'll explain it to you later.
You're gonna love
All
it.
right.
You're gonna love it.
That's going to be it for this episode. Just like always, we had a great time. Hope y'all did too. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. If so, tell somebody about the Talking Lamar podcast. I know I'll appreciate it, and I think they might too. Don't forget to listen to that multiple award-winning, Webby-nominated True Weird Stuff podcast. Yeah, you might get a little queasy. You might wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat, but it's still pretty good, though. It's fun to listen to. Now, there's more to come on Talking Lamar, so don't stop now, because I've told y'all this before. I hate a quitter. Join us for the next episode. Let us know what you think. Go to the Bob and Sheri app. Look down at that bottom. Click on the microphone and start talking. Max listens to every message. Speaking of messages, we have one to listen. No, we don't. You'll have to edit this, Max. We listen to every message.
I'm not editing anything. You're not making more work for me. It's in there. It's just in there, Chief.
Hey, we operate this thing like a finely tuned machine. You can also call 844-52-SHARE and leave a message. Until then.